Hey everyone, Bitcoin is about 81,000. Yep, $81,000 per coin. Dipped just under $79,000 in the wee hours of last night. So, what is going on with Bitcoin? Well, the short take is we're getting a bunch of what I would call high school drama, which is, people panicking for no reason that don't know what they're doing. They're freaking out, and it almost entirely caused. Well, the trigger of all of this is the Trump tariffs. So obviously, tariffs are horrible for economic activity. They're bad for all parties involved. They may hurt some countries more than others, but they're bad for everybody. They're not good for the United States. Like tariffs are just bad policy, just straight up bad policy. So the stock market is freaking out. And when the stock market is freaking out, everybody's panicking because, everybody's leveraged to the gills in the stock market with borrowed money and a bunch of craziness. And as a result of that, when they freak out, they sell what they can, not necessarily what they want to. One second. For example, if you're in real estate right now and you're freaking out, you can't really sell your real estate on a dime. So what do you sell? Well, you sell your Bitcoin because, that doesn't make any sense, but when people freak out, they do irrational things. Um, if you're in oil and gas and you've got oil, rigs and wells and all this sort of stuff, well, that stuff's not very liquid. It's not like you can wake up one morning and sell off your oil and gas exploration rights on a dime, but you can sell Bitcoin. So when people freak out, they do dumb stuff. So the question is, am I freaking out? The answer is no. This is all high school drama. Like it just doesn't matter. I mean, I've been through the bear market after 2017. I've been through the bear market after 2021. This is a blip on the radar. In the long term, it just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. What matters is the fundamentals of Bitcoin. Is it the future monetary system of the world? Yes, it is. Because of the characteristics of Bitcoin, it's divisible, it's portable, it's durable, it's authenticatable, it's fungible, it's verifiable, and most importantly, it's scarce. It is the scarcest thing that exists in the entire universe right now is Bitcoin. There is nothing as scarce as Bitcoin in the entire universe right now. Every other thing in the universe you can find more of, make more of, explore more of, invent more of, and Bitcoin is the one thing you cannot do those things. And so its monetary properties are perfect. And so that long term gets reflected in the price of Bitcoin because in the long term, people trade out things that work less well as money or that are too easy to make more of because they're not scarce for things that are more scarce when it comes to monetary goods. Bitcoin is more scarce than gold, way more scarce than silver. It's just more scarce than anything. Right. So why are people freaking out? Well, the tariffs are making everybody freak out that their stock market portfolios, their real estate portfolios, their oil and gas holdings are all going to go in the toilet. And when all that stuff goes into the toilet, people are freaking out that, but wait, when all their investment goes down, how are they going to, pay their mortgages and how are they going to pay their car payments and how are they going to, fund a business loan and all that sort of stuff. And so they're just selling whatever assets they can. And Bitcoin, because it trades 24/7, it's completely liquid, anywhere in the world in any currency. It's the one thing you can freak out and sell, even if that does not make any sense. And that is what happens. Back in the flash crash of COVID back in March of 2020, Bitcoin sold off in the panic sell when everybody was selling everything, and then it bounced back way faster than anything else, and it's gone since then from $3,200 a coin to $81,000 a coin. So from 3,200, imagine that 3,000 up to 81,000 again because people are just selling it for no good reason. So that's going to keep happening. It's all high school drama. The reason it doesn't phase me, and I saw something on Twitter where somebody was asking, I don't know, some tweet that made me think, or it made me realize I have never even considered selling Bitcoin. Like none of the ups and downs of the last, I don't know, 5 years. I've never considered selling Bitcoin since I bought it because I just don't buy stuff and then sell it because I'm not an idiot. But especially since from probably 2020, 2021 forward, it has never occurred to me to do anything with Bitcoin other than buy more of it. Like, you know, it dips whatever 27% or 25% or whatever it is right now, from 109 down to 81, and it like the thought never has even crossed my mind that I would sell Bitcoin. And the answer is for what? For paper money the government prints out of thin air? Why on earth would I exchange my Bitcoin, which is a store of my valuable labor, my time and energy saved up for later? I would exchange something that's absolutely scarce for something the government prints out of thin air? I mean, you don't walk into a monopoly game with real US dollars and trade them for monopoly money. You don't trade Bitcoin for US dollars that they print out of thin air. You have to work for them. They just print them out of thin air. I'm not making that trade. So it has never even occurred to me to sell Bitcoin. So, um, that being said, I feel the pain of people that don't understand that none of this matters, right? So if you're, I don't think I've ever had this happen, but I don't recall it. But you see in movies or you hear stories about kids who come home from high school and they're crying because they didn't get invited to the popular kids party, or the person that they wanted to go to the dance with said no. Like I say, I'm not immediately remembering any of those stories from my own kids, but I know that is sort of a popular, sort of vignette that plays out in high schools all over. Um, so if you as an adult, if your kid comes home and they're crying because they didn't get invited to a party or the person they wanted to take to the dance said no or anything like that, I know what you wish. What you wish is that you could tell your kid, hey, kid, none of that's going to matter. Like, you're going to grow up and, the popular kid's not going to be popular anymore. And the party that you wish you had gone to, just nobody's going to care. So in all of that high school drama, you wish you could tell, that teenager, none of this matters. It's just all irrelevant. And in the rearview mirror, you won't even care. And for most of it, you won't even remember. And that is just the way Bitcoin is right now. Um, Everybody, and I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, yeah, but wait, I bought at 98,000 a coin. I bought at 105,000 a coin. Some unlucky soul bought at exactly 109,000 a coin. And I'm saying, it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because when Bitcoin's 500,000 a coin, $1 million a coin, you're not going to remember that. You're not going to remember. I don't remember exactly which Bitcoin. The cheapest Bitcoin I've ever bought was $6,400 a coin. That was the cheapest Bitcoin I ever bought, was 6,400. I don't remember which Bitcoin I bought at 6,400 versus 12,800 versus 10,200 versus 9,600. I bought Bitcoins at all of those levels, including I bought significant amounts of Bitcoin above 100,000 a coin. None of that matters in the long term because, again, all I wish is that I had bought a ton more Bitcoin below 20,000. Back before 2020, I could have had as much Bitcoin as I wanted below 20,000. I just wish I had bought more below 20,000 at any price. Back in 2020, 2022, 2023, 2024, there was like 2 years, 2.5 years, you could buy as much Bitcoin as you want below 40,000. I just wish I had bought as much Bitcoin as possible before 40,000, below 40,000. But 60,000, I wish I had bought as much Bitcoin as I could below 60,000. It's the same thing. At some point in the future, all you're going to think is, dang, why did I not buy as much Bitcoin as I could below 110,000? 100% of all the Bitcoin that's ever been bought in the world has been bought below 110,000. The highest Bitcoin's ever been is 109,000 a coin. So 100% of all the Bitcoin that's ever been bought by anyone in the entire history of the world and the universe was bought below $110,000 per coin. The day will come when everybody on the planet wishes they had bought way more Bitcoin, any price below 110,000 per coin. Any price. In fact, the day will come where people say, I wish I could buy $109,000 Bitcoin if I could just rewind time and buy $109,000 Bitcoin. I would. Just like if you could rewind time back to 2018, you'd buy as much Bitcoin at 10,900. Knock a zero off as you possibly could. So the same is true. The same is going to continue to be true. All of this is short-term noise. And again, the stress you're feeling from Bitcoin that you bought below today's price, it's just not going to matter in the long term. Just the same way it doesn't matter, again, what party you got invited to in high school, who said yes or no to a dance. None of that stuff matters when you grow up. And it's just none of the price action of Bitcoin is going to matter right now. The difference is right now you can buy Bitcoin discounted. So my advice is the same as always. Buy as much Bitcoin as you possibly can and hold on to it as long as conceivably possible. That is the only proven strategy that has never failed in Bitcoin, is to buy as much Bitcoin as you possibly can and hold on to it as long as conceivably possible. Do not buy Bitcoin with debt. Do not take out a loan to buy Bitcoin. Just buy Bitcoin with whatever dollars you can possibly buy it with that are not going to end up with you upside down, and it'll be the best investment decision you've ever made. That's never not been the case, if you wait long enough in the world of Bitcoin. So, um, have a great day, everyone. If you have any questions for me, you can always text me 601-207-0813. That number again, 601-207-0813. You can also message me on Facebook Messenger. And obviously, just make sure it's the real me. There's always fake accounts that float around from time to time. Always happy to answer questions, always happy to hold your hand, always happy to reassure you if you're stressed out, because this is the first time you've gotten on the roller coaster and it's, your stomach is churning a little. But help. That's what I'm here for. So have a great day, everyone. Thanks.